tragic news this morning. Two more police officers who responded to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol have died by suicide. Yesterday, Metropolitan Police confirmed the death of Officer Kyle DeFreytag. He joined the force back in 2016. Just hours earlier, the department announced that Officer Gunther Hashida died by suicide last week. He was an 18-year veteran of the Metropolitan Police Department. Two other officers took their own lives earlier this year. More than 550 people are facing charges now for their alleged roles in the insurrection. Federal prosecutors say they are in early talks to resolve the cases of some Proud Boy members charged in the case. And of course, joining us now with the details, our justice correspondent, Candace Kelley. Good morning, Candace.
Good morning.
These early talks, Candace, got to tell you, involving that possible settlement. Could you talk a little bit about what that could look like for the defendants as we come off, of course, that tragic news that we are learning this morning?
Yeah, it is tragic news, and I think that that's why prosecutors and defense attorneys want to take care of this as soon as possible to figure out what happens to not just these three men that I will talk about, but the 550 people that could come up and perhaps serve time in jail. But what we're looking at is three people who are said to be three of the first to actually enter into the Capitol building, having broken the window. So prosecutors are saying, listen, we might look into a settlement. We're still into early preliminary dealings with what's going on, but these are people that we just want to make sure we deal with in a way that makes sense. As you said, several people have committed suicide. We've talked before on this show about the last person who was convicted. He's getting convicted. He's getting 8 months in jail. But this preliminary settlement talk is with three men in particular, members of the Oath Keepers and members of the Proud Boys, as you said. And they're saying that, or the defense attorneys are saying, listen, they don't have any record. They don't have anything else behind them in terms of the law. So let's see if we can get something perhaps less than the 8 months that the previous people have come before them have gotten. So we'll see how this turns out. Again, just in the preliminary talks. But if this does happen, this will certainly be a statement and a precedent in terms of the other people who are behind bars and who are out, who are part of the 550 who are charged.
And Candace, I don't think a lot of people even realize that these people are still behind bars. And I know attorneys argued at the very least that these individuals should be let go. But why did the judge say no to that?
Well, they said no. The judge said no because of the fact that even though these three did not have criminal records, they had lots going on at home in terms of guns, in terms of $2,000 worth of ammunition, in terms of war gear, guns that were unregistered. So there were a lot of things that even though while they didn't have a criminal record, these things pointed that they might be doing something else in the future or might be a threat in some way. So this was not something that the judge agreed to at all, hands down. It was not something that she even considered.
I want to switch gears for just a moment here, Candace, and talk about that Zoom settlement that we first brought our viewers yesterday. Where does that stand now?
So we've got this $85 million settlement in what are called Zoom bombing. So whether you are a federal agent or whether you are an Alcoholics Anonymous group, or perhaps the two of you, I have never been Zoom bombed, but for people who don't know, this is where if somebody has a Zoom situation or is on Zoom, then someone bombs them. They come in. It might be pornography. It might be a racist that might come on your Zoom meeting. Well, the judge has said in this case that, Zoom, because of the way that you have dealt with the privacy rights of those subscribers that are paying you, you owe $85 million to those people. So they're saying that they gave private information to third-party operations like Facebook and Google. Now, Zoom is saying that they were trying to figure out what was the trend and what people were doing, how often they were on Zoom. But in order to figure that out and get that algorithm, they had to use apps created by Google and Facebook, and that's where they got in trouble once they shared that information, once they downloaded the app, so to speak, that information was shared with third parties, and that became a problem. So the judge said, you're going to be responsible for this because certainly the people who pay their subscriptions, which they're not cheap, right? You owe them some money.
Well, we know that Zoom tried to do things like make adjustments along the way. They try to put in passcodes and try to keep people from getting into these accounts. But the court says that they have to do more. So what are they expecting them to do now?
Right. So at one point, the passcodes and The waiting rooms were not a default. That automatically became a default during COVID. But the judge is saying because of what's going on in terms of the law, right? If you have someone who's on your site and they show pornography, well, that's a crime. If you are someone who's on their site and on your site or on your Zoom meeting that says a bunch of racial slurs in the middle of your Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, that's a crime in terms of a hate crime. So they want there to be more coordination with law officers, law management to try to deal with these things that really are crimes. So they want Zoom, in addition to what they've done in terms of the privacy, to also work more coherently with police, with law enforcement, to make sure that these people who do Zoom bomb are prosecuted to the fullest extent. So that's going to fall on Zoom.
I know a lot of folks who are listening right now, Candace, are wondering, will I get a piece of the check? You know, the proposed settlement includes $85 million. Yeah, raising your hand over there. Who gets the settlement money? Because a lot of us use Zoom, including myself. And I think a lot of folks at home wonder, yeah, does that mean I might get something in the mail?
Right, and that is a very good question. So this actually started out with 14 different organizations and people, lawsuits that came together, formed into what was boiled down to 3 lawsuits. So these are the people who will be getting these monies, the people who are part of the lawsuit. But specifically, and there's a formula here, upon approval, because anytime that you have a settlement, it has to be approved by the judge. Subscribers over the past 5 years would be able to claim 15% refund on their subscription or $25, whichever is higher.
Wait a minute, you telling me after all this, all folks gonna get is $25 each?
You know, yeah, you have to do the math. It's a lot. It's a little something.
Right. You know what? We'll take it. You know what? We'll take it. Don't worry about Shannon. You know, I'll take it. Go ahead, Zoom. Send it over.
So anybody who's out there who gets the information, listen, we've got a claim of settlement money for you, which sometimes we get. Sometimes they're just phishing experiments, right? And people aren't serious. If you get one from Zoom, they've got $25 for you, so you can, you know, head on over to your local restaurant and supersize something. So that'll help you.
But generally, people don't have to do anything. They just wait for the letter to come in the mail that says, you know, class action suit, and that's all they have to do. Okay.
And probably would be an email. Absolutely.
Okay, email. Look out for those emails. I'm not going to delete any emails from Zoom coming up. All right, Candace Kelley, thank you so much for those updates.